I'm Sarah J and welcome back to beautiful Melbourne, Australia. Another gorgeous day. I think it's around 22 degrees. It's definitely now moved out of summer from what I can tell, although we did have 31 on the weekend, but it is getting into that really beautiful sort of autumn time, and you have those lovely chilled mornings and cooler nights, which is great for sleeping. So that's great because I like to sleep. Anyway, so today I thought we could paint a beautiful bird, and this is the bird that we're painting today. So I'm not sure if you're from Australia or not, but we have these gorgeous little wrens, these blue wrens, splendid fairy wrens, and they're absolutely gorgeous birds. And I have actually painted one before. It's called Sing for Joy. And yeah, I was really inspired to do this. I had seen some other work that was bird related, and I was like, oh, I really want to do that wren again. And I love to paint in soft pastels, so I thought let's bring out the pastels and do it, especially being that the wrens are so vibrant and blue. So we'll be using pastels today. I'll be starting with a charcoal pencil, then I'll be moving on to my soft pastels. I will be using a hint of Conte there, just for those stronger lines. So let's get started. So in terms of materials, we'll obviously be needing drawing paper. I have an A3 sheet of 220 GSM. It's got a really nice texture for pastel. We're using Woodless charcoal pencil, which has got a nice soft point. We need an eraser for any mistakes and a kneadable rubber as well for the pastel cleanup. And we've got some soft pastels today. I've got a pack of 48 really nice colors. I'll link this one in the description for you. These are larger pastels. We'll need some Q-tips. I've got Swispers. So I've set up my easel with my paper taped on. And just looking at composition, really just want to keep the bird in the center of the page. The bird really is the focus. Not planning to do anything with the background. I'm just going to be the bird and the branch, and just really focus on the beauty of that bird. So we just start off drawing in the outline of this beautiful wren. It's really important to take your time with drawing in the body and the shape. It's got a particular shape, and here I'm just wanting to make sure that I've really got a clear understanding of where the elements of the different colors will go. So a little bit about the beautiful wrens. They're actually found all around Australia. They're found in Western Australia, they're found in South Australia, Victoria, Northern Territory, New South Wales and Southern Queensland. And they live in communal blended families. They have one female matriarch, which is the mother, and the dad is the only breeding male, and the rest of the flock can have up to 6 helpers, including adult sons. They're very social. They live in the same area all year long, and their bold blue feathers aren't an accident. Males wear the dark blue costume when they're looking for love, as it helps them be attractive to a female or attractive female. Here I'm just measuring. It's a little trick with your pencil, so you can use your pencil against the photo and then proportion size against the drawing as well. It's a good little trick, and I highly recommend using your pencil to do that. So you can actually look after splendid fairy wrens at your own place if you have them around. They love to grow in shrubs. They build their nests, and they love insects and ants and grasshoppers and spiders and bugs. So there you go. That's the food that they love. But what they won't love are things like pesticides, if they're vulnerable to predators like open spaces. Time to bring in some color, so I'm starting with that beautiful light blue on the top of its gorgeous head. And as I'd mentioned earlier, I have sped this up, so I don't actually draw this fast. But really I'm just going in where the key areas are with that light blue as the first level of color. So really you're just looking at doing layer upon layer. Going in with a deeper and darker blue, creating some depth here, and just really trying to create that vibrancy of color that the blue wren has on its body. They're such delicate, beautiful looking birds, the wrens. Yeah, so just continuing along with different layers of color. I've got a deeper, I think this is like a midnight blue. It's got a little bit of gray in it. I'm not using black here, but I'm just creating the layers. Coming again with the light blue. So what I generally do is I will keep these at the bottom of this easel, this drawing easel, and I'll keep the main colors there. So I can just keep coming back. You'll see I'll just keep coming back to the different colors. Again, that gorgeous, bright and bold blue. Like you would do with oils or acrylic paints, just mixing over the top and just really working on getting those colors in. I remember when I was younger, I used to love to draw in coloring books. And this is a similar idea where you're coloring in the key places with different colors. And that's really the first step once you've got the body and the shape right. And going back in with this gorgeous blue. Sometimes the pastels aren't perfect colors. Ideally, you would have a huge range of pastel colors, but the reality is we don't, and pastels are expensive. So you've just got a little bit of compromising that you've got to do sometimes and think maybe a little bit differently and how can I get that right color. Don't forget to wipe your hands. And so I'm now going in with my Q-tip. So the Swiss Spirit, it's called Swiss Spirit, it's Q-tip. And I love to work with this. My hands aren't going to be messing up the page here. I do like to use my fingers, but I really like to use Q-tips. And they can really you can go in there with some, I guess, clarity, and you can be very careful and get your lines more, avoid going over with your lines. Back in with that gorgeous blue. Now I'm bringing in the beautiful neutrals for its wing. And yeah, so if you look at the wing, you can see there's a variety of different colors in there. We've got some browns and some darker shades, and we've obviously got the feathers. So yeah, just looking carefully at the picture, analyzing it, and yeah, just really trying to bring that out with the pastels. When you're drawing and painting, I think the key thing is to constantly refer back to your picture. Refer back to what are you actually trying to capture? What are you trying to draw? And take your time, have breaks, analyze, and have a good look at your subject matter. Looking and analyzing is almost just as important as the actual drawing process. So I'm coming back in here with some white for some of those gorgeous feathers. White's just an easy one to use with pastels. Once you've got your colors down, you can just go over the top and start to layer the white. One of the things I love about animals is they're all so unique, and they have different colors and different shapes, and they've got their own personalities. And I think the wrens are just a gorgeous little bird, and they're so bouncy and cute. Yes, I'm just building those beautiful deep blues on the body of the bird. There is black in there too, but for the moment I'm just really focusing on getting that depth of blue. So now I'm coming in with my Conte. Conte is a very, very hard medium, but it's a similar idea to, I suppose, a drawing pencil. And yeah, it's just got a nice hard edge and it's perfect for doing eyes. So I thought, well, I'll do the little eye in Conte and I can get a really strong round line. And it's much easier than trying to go in with a thick, soft pastel. And this is a very dainty little beak, this one, so I'm taking my time here. And just going over, adding some more depth and darkness to the body of the wren here with the Conte. And back in with my pastels. Yeah, and remember with your pastels, I mentioned this before, to have a look at it before you start using it to make sure that you haven't got any other colors on it, because it will come out on your picture. That's definitely happened to me before. I just love watching subject matter and animals or flowers come to life when you're drawing them, because yeah, just as you start to see their personality with birds, it's very, very special, and to think that didn't exist before. There's so many different mediums you could paint a bird in, and you know, you could do one purely with pencil. You could do a black and white, a fine line with a fine liner sketch. You could etch it out on a very hard plastic, and you could do it in watercolor. You could use gouache. You could paint it in acrylic paint on canvas, which I've done before. So there's lots of options with painting. I think you just got to try different things. But with this particular picture, I really did want to do it in pastel because I thought it would really create the vibrancy of the bird. And now I'm going in with the gorgeous feet. Look at those feet, they're so cute. So obviously I've got some gray here in the feet and also on the branch. Didn't want to do much of a background except have the wren sitting on the branch. I wanted the wren to be the key focus of this picture. The other thing is with pastels, it can get a little bit messy when you're doing backgrounds and key subjects. So you really do want to think about what you want to do. Another way to get around that is actually use watercolor or a little bit of gouache as well around the wren. So you could have also done that with the background, but I really wanted the white. I thought the white would really make the wren stand out. So I've kept it pretty simple, just focusing on the bird and the branch. So I'm just going in with the detail here on those gorgeous feet. So I'll just finish off the picture. So enjoy some music, and I'll see you for the debrief soon. So for those of you who've watched my videos before, I do like to debrief after doing a drawing. I think it's a really good thing to do to look at, well, what do I think went well? And if there's anything I would change. So obviously I love birds, so it's a joy to actually do this drawing. The issue that you have with birds is that they've got very particular shapes, and you really need to spend time making sure your dimensions are right. So with my little Wren here, you'll see that I did go back in later and I extended his body because I felt like he needed to be a little bit longer. The other thing I could have done is I could have worked with the background and you could actually have put some leaves in there or a bit of a sky, but again, I decided before I started this picture that I wanted it to be just the Wren and not a background, but I did make sure that we've got some speckles on the branch so you can see that it's an actual branch. So with soft pastels, one of the things that you have to be aware of is once you start going in heavy, you can't do much later. So that's why you really have to think about, well, what colors I'm gonna put down first. I did spend quite a bit of time on the pencil sketch to really understand where the key colors are, but you will see during the painting process that I did have to change it slightly here and there, but I hadn't gone too heavy, so it was all right. So with pastels, it can get messy. The pastel pigment does drop if you're doing a standing up one like I like to do. So when you do go to clean it up with the kneadable rubber, remember that you might pick up the pastel fragments and then put it back onto the paper, which was happening to me, but it's all good. I fixed it, so no problem. One of the things as well is I don't like to use too much black, but I did use a bit of black with this one because there's a lot of white on the actual Wren. So I thought, well, if I use a little bit of black and grey, then I can get a little bit of that outline. If I had put, on the positive side, if I had put a background in, that would not have been an issue because the background would have made it very clear where the Wren was defined and where the body finished. I think he's got a really good energy about him. I think he feels like he's got that bounciness that Wrens have, and that's what I was hoping to get with this picture. I like it. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure to spend time with you. I hope you have a go at painting the Blue Wren in soft pastels. And if you do, remember to tag me on @sarahj.artist on Instagram because I'd really love to see your work. So remember to subscribe if you haven't already so you get notified of future uploads. Usually I upload every fortnight, around about Thursday, 6 p.m, sometimes Friday at 3, but I do actually let you know that in the community tab. Thanks again for your support. I hope you have a great rest of the day, wherever you are in the world. Until then,